Hey everyone, we are back with another video today, and today we are doing a Texans mock draft. And make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach my goal of 850 subscribers by the end of January. Make sure that you like this video if you enjoy it down below. I'm going to be doing a mock draft for each of the top 10 teams, as well as a first round mock draft coming out soon. Pretty much a mock draft coming out every single week. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, comment your thoughts and opinions down below. It's always good to hear from each of you guys what your thoughts and opinions are for these mock drafts. So let's go ahead and get started with the Texans, as they have a couple of first round picks. Their first one being at number 2 overall with the pick coming up. So we do have a trade offer coming here from the Detroit Lions. Ooh, this is very tempting. Man, this is a very tempting offer. What? You know what? We're going to take it. We are going to take it, get a lot of extra picks. I think that definitely would help out because I think that the Texans have a lot of different needs. Though it does concern me that you may not be able to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks in C.J. Stroud or in Bryce Young, who went. Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson both went. We're not going to accept any of these trade offers because, you really got to get a quarterback. C.J. Stroud still available, so ended up being a very good trade because that's who I probably would have picked at number 2. Anyway, so C.J. Stroud, just to talk about this, great quarterback prospect. I think is the most. I think he has the most potential as a quarterback in the NFL. I think that Bryce Young, a little bit smaller of a dude, does concern me a little bit that he could get injured a lot and stuff like that. We're going to reject these trade offers as well. Let's see here. We're going to reject that one. Man, 3 picks. Let's see who's available here. So with this does make it a little bit more difficult. Let's see who's available offensive line wise. Let's look at the tackle position, Broderick Jones. Okay, defensive wise, you do have a lot of players available. This is going to be a tough decision, but I think I am going to go ahead and decline the trade offer because there is a player that I want. I'm going to go with Noah Sewell. He is the brother of Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle out of Detroit. So I really think that he will be a great tackle prospect overall and a really big help there at that type of position. So as we move on here, So now the biggest reason for picking a linebacker there is I think that the Texans really need to add to their depth overall. We're going to reject that trade as well as that one. So reminder, we do have another pick due to the Lions trading us from number 2 to number 6. So we have 3 first-round picks. You have a lot of different options available. Let's see here. This is the advantage of having 3 first-round picks. Defensive tackle definitely could be a need. Brian Bresee, a good option here. Jackson Smith and Jigba, a good option. Brian Branch, not terrible. I don't think cornerback is the biggest need here. You already picked a linebacker. You got your quarterback. I think wide receiver-wise, you definitely could use an alpha number 1 wide receiver. This is a tough decision. So I'm between Michael Mayer and Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I'm going to be taking Jackson Smith and Jigba. Really dynamic player. Did have a little bit of a concern, but it should be addressed to the draft prospect because he did get hurt on I think it was the second drive when they were playing Notre Dame at the beginning of the season. Jackson Smith had a shoulder issue, but it doesn't seem to be a long-term concern going forward. So we will continue on our draft as we will have a pick coming up here in the second round. Remember, there are only 31 picks in the first round this year because the Dolphins forfeited their pick. And yes, sir, we will be rejecting these two trade offers. So now we are continuing to build up and build around. So here's a couple of options here. You could take an offensive lineman. The offensive line is pretty trash. But the problem is more the interior. Broderick Jones, I see, has more of a tackle prospect. You definitely could use like a defensive tackle in Javon Dexter, or even I think, let's see here. Yeah, both Patterson and Schmitz are a little bit later. I think you could use a center. You could use a guard. At a minimum. Kenyon Green didn't have the greatest rookie season, but I'm going to go with Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. Really think he's a good prospect that should surround CJ Stroud with a lot of good players in his first year, between like Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins, and you have a lot of different players. You have John Mechie, obviously. And I think that the tight end position, Jordan Atkinson has played well, but I think that Michael Mayer really puts it at a whole new level. Hopefully Eli Ricks would still be available. That would be a great pick to be able to pick up with our next pick, but I doubt. Nope, he goes to the Niners at pick 42. So I think that this draft so far off to a really good start. Had four top 33 picks, so that really does address a lot of needs there. And you still got the quarterback that you were looking for, so we're going to reject both of those trade offers. And right here, this is really easy. Cedric Van Pran and John Michael Schmitz, two good players. I like Schmitz personally a little bit more, but this is early on in the draft process. I could see Schmitz becoming a little bit better. This is a little bit of an outline. If you do, I use the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. It does give you some different stats there if you want to look at that. But I will be taking John Michael Schmitz, the center, out of Minnesota. I think that center position is really important to be able to address, especially early rounds in this, even though this draft does not have a lot of good interior guys in the early couple of rounds. It is actually a pretty weak class in that regard. So as we continue to move on, I think we filled a lot of good positions here. We got the receiver target and the tight end target, and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Michael Mayer. I'm really happy about those, as well as a big get. If he could just stay a couple more guys, I think I will be really happy if he could just stay a couple more guys. And Andre Carter, is he going to stay available? Yes, he will. So I will be taking Andre Carter, the edge rusher out of Army. Really good player. Fortunately, will be able to enter into the NFL draft. I know that there was a bill going through Congress that could have restricted him from going in, but he ended up being able to make it. So really happy to be able to see him continue his career. Had a really good junior season, 15 and a half sacks in that season, and then is now going to move on to this. So now that we're in this, definitely could use a cornerback. Hodges Tomlinson, Ladarius Tomlinson's nephew, is a possibility. I think I will be going with Sakaki Ika. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. But the defensive tackle out of Baylor has a lot of versatility. I'm sure Scotty B, the Baylor King, will be in the comment section after this video. So, Scotty, if you're hearing this and want to put a little bit of a note there on Ika, you can even tell me how to say it. But a really good player there, does a good job playing either the 3 or the 1 technique. Probably going to play the 3 technique in this style of defense, playing the 4-3 style of defense. So starting to address a lot of positions here. I'm happy so far with how the draft is going. But as we continue on here, I think that we've started to really address a lot of these needs and be able to use this as a good mention for this video. So make sure that you tell me, what are your thoughts? Do you like the trade that I made with the Lions? Do you dislike it? Do you think that it helped out the team? Do you think it didn't help out the team? What are your thoughts on the trade with the Lions, giving me the 6th overall pick, the 18th overall pick, and like the 48th overall pick? A lot of trade value there as I gave up the 2nd overall pick, but still got the quarterback I was looking for in C.J. Stroud. So as we continue on here, I know it's being a little bit slow with the picking. I probably should have put it on fast speed, but oh well. So as we enter into the 4th round now, we will have another pick here at pick 101. So with this pick, I will be taking another interior offensive guy. And even though he's listed as a center, I think between him and Michael Schmitz, I think that you're able to put one of them at guard. And maybe Schmitz doesn't work out or gets injured or something like that. That gives you a backup, because I think both Schmitz and Stromberg is better than what you have at center right now. And I think Quessenberry would definitely play a little bit better at guard. Texans fans, if you disagree with me, you can probably correct me if you think otherwise. But personally, I think that he plays a little bit better at guard than otherwise. So make sure that you continue to subscribe for all of this draft content coming at you, as we have a lot of draft content coming up in the next couple of weeks. The Texans actually have a really interesting next couple of weeks coming up with what they do in free agency, what they end up doing in the draft and all of that. It really should be an interesting offseason for all of these teams. I say all these teams with the Texans. It should be a really interesting one. So, and as we continue closer to the real draft, I will continue to build up the amount of coverage that I will have coming out. So, as we come up to our next pick, at pick 133, I will be taking. So let's see here. Let's get a good look at. Okay, I will be taking Chase Brown, the running back out of Illinois. The reason for taking Chase Brown is I think that it's always good to get a running back out of the NFL draft pretty much every other year, if not even every year. Depending on your running back situation, the Texans don't have a bad one, but I think that it definitely could be improved a little bit. Depth is always a good thing, especially at running back. Running back's one of those positions that you could really just truly never have enough depth in, mostly because you really never know. There have been guys that third-string running backs getting a start in week 1 because of injuries and stuff like that, just because of the violent nature of that running back position. It can be very demanding on many of the guys that are playing it. So as we enter into the 6th round here, we don't have our pick at the top of the draft, but we will continue to wait until our next pick. So another guy that is available at the moment is Zachary Franklin, one of my more interesting draft guys. But I am going to be taking Tyke Smith, the safety out of Georgia. At first, he transferred from Kansas State, or not Kansas State, I'm sorry, from West Virginia to Georgia. Came in with a lot of hype, expected to be a really good prospect, but unfortunately for him, that didn't exactly work out the way that they were planning. But I will be taking Charlie Jones, the wide receiver, out of Purdue here. All three of them, Ronnie Bell, Charlie Jones, and Zachary Franklin, the top three wide receivers that you see there, are all very talented players. And definitely guys that I would take later on in the middle of the sixth round. I think that they are all good day three type of picks that really could show some promise maybe a 2 or 3 years into their career. So we have back-to-back picks here. I'll taking Kendra Coburn, the defensive tackle out of Texas, as well as, let's see here. The other pick that I have is going to be, let's look at the defensive players. We have PJ Mustipher, a good player, has a lot of athleticism there. See here. I think I will be taking Bumper Pool, the linebacker out of Arkansas, has been a really solid player. I think that just generally he has a lot of promise to him. And really just, I think, an overall solid tackler. I think that is one of the biggest traits that he gives, is that he's just a solid, overall solid player, go-to type of guy. So as we close in on this draft, we will have, I think, one more pick. So the final pick that I have here will be Byron Young, the edge rusher out of Tennessee. Does have some promise in this upcoming draft. One of the more interesting players, played well throughout the season on a really good Tennessee team. Though the defense struggled, he did show some promise as well. So last couple of picks, and then we're going to recap this draft class. So after our trade, reminder that we traded the 6th pick, or we traded the 2nd pick and the 73rd pick for the 6th, 18th, 48th, 59, and Detroit's first-round pick next year. So got a massive haul in return. Then we ended up drafting C.J. Stroud at number 6, the quarterback out of Ohio State. At number 12, we drafted Noah Sewell, the linebacker out of Oregon. At 18, we drafted Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Michael Mayer, 33, tight end out of Notre Dame. John Michael Schmitz at 48, the center / guard out of Minnesota. At 59, we drafted Andre Carter, the edge out of Army. At 65, Sikia Akaya. I'm terrible with names. A defensive tackle out of Baylor. Ricky Stromberg, the center out of Arkansas. 133, we drafted Chase Brown, running back out of Illinois. 174, Tyke Smith, safety out of Georgia. 185, Charlie Jones, the wide receiver out of Purdue. 191, Kendra Coburn, the defensive tackle out of Texas. Bumper Pool, 192, Arkansas, linebacker out of Arkansas. 215, Byron Young, the edge out of Tennessee. So this was actually an extremely long video, so I'm going to cut it short here. So that's all for today's video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. It was great to have all of you guys with me. Make sure that you are ready for my next video coming out soon.